Howdy, my name is Timmy with Sirius Power PC, and today we are going to be building a PC. Let's get straight into this. We first started off by taking the glass panels off of our Sirius A PC case. We then set our case aside and got ready to start prepping our motherboard, the MSI Tomahawk Z790 DDR5 motherboard. We actually did a more in-depth video on this motherboard. If y'all want to check it out, I'll leave it in the top right hand of the screen right now, where we went over some more facts about it, some more information about it, and did a detailed unboxing and installation. However, we didn't prep it, so we're going to do that right now. We unboxed our motherboard and got it out of the anesthetic bag that it came in. First thing we're gonna do is install the CPU. We're gonna pop this arm out. There we go. We're going to be building with the Intel i9 14900K. Let's get this opened up. Good old Intel i9 sticker. We have our shiny, brand new Intel i9 14900K. And we'll very carefully lower it in there. That is a beautiful, beautiful Intel i9 14900K completely installed. I'm checking to make sure which slot the RAM should go in. So for this particular build, we have the Kingston Fury Renegade DDR5 6400 MTS version of the RAM, 32 gigabytes. Let's absolutely get this installed. Go ahead and get your RAM modules out. Be careful to not touch the gold leaf at the bottom. I'm wearing an anesthetic wristband, so I should be fine, but as a general rule of thumb, you don't ever want to touch the gold at the bottom of your RAM modules. My motherboard had a link that took me to a YouTube video that said I need to put this RAM in slots 2 and 4. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that now. Don't ever force RAM like that, not lined up. We need to flip it around, push down firmly, applying equal pressure to both sides. And like you heard there, you should hear a clip from both to make sure that the RAM is completely inserted. Then take your other stick and once again, push evenly on both sides. There we go. Got both of them to clip. Okay, now let's install our solid state drive. For this particular build, we have the WD Black SN850X. After we unboxed that, I located my M.2 slot closest to my CPU and I unscrewed the cover from it. So what you want to do once this is off is go ahead, take this little sticky layer. Make sure to do this if you're installing yours, because that way you can reveal the thermal pad that it needs to connect to. Now, go ahead and take your NVMe SSD and line it up. My motherboard has a screwless contact, so it's just a pin that you put to hold it down. Make sure that it's in all the way. Push it down, and then use that little clip to hold it in place. Perfect. Then, assuming you've peeled that little layer off of the thermal pad, and you've clipped in your solid state drive, go ahead and set it back down on here. Tighten them down on both sides. Now that I have all the motherboard prep done, let's move on to the power supply prep and the case prep. Now we got our power supply. We're gonna unbox it and prep it along with the cables it came with for installation in our case. For this build, we're using the Superflower LED X Platinum 1200 watt power supply. So this is a modular power supply, but what I specifically need right now is the 17 pounds worth of cables. Let's get our cable bag. So we have in here our main computer power cable, SATA cables here for powering hard drives, some different GPU, well that's SATA, but we have some different GPU cables in here. Here is a CPU cable. Okay, so I need that one. I need that one. We'll get the graphics card cable a little bit later when we actually install the graphics card. But for now, we're done with our 7-pound brick of cable bag. Let's go ahead and get the case back up here. Now that I have my motherboard out, I can kind of sort of see where different things are gonna have to go, where different case connectors are gonna have to go, so I can route those when I route these power supply cables. First thing we'll do is get our USB 3.0 cable and route it to be up here by the 24-pin motherboard cable. Front panel connectors, let's separate those. All of those are gonna go down on the bottom right-hand corner, so I'm going to route those under the tiny little slot right here for them. And then finally, we have our 2 USB connectors, okay, which those are both going to go at the straight bottom. So I'll put that right out there. Now we're going to install some fans. That was really satisfying. So the way these fans work, some fans are going to be different, but these are our Sirius Infinity V3 fans, is they connect with one another so that you only have to power one of them. So the connecting points are on the side right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and take these 3 fans and connect them. There we go. There we go. So the intake-outtake pattern that I'm going to follow is going to be, I'm going to have these fans up at the top, which will be my CPU cooler. I'll have those as outtake fans. I'll have this fan here as an outtake fan. I'll have the bottom fans as intake and these side fans as intake as well, since the case has, well, the case back is off of the case, but it has holes right here that air can flow through. We got our fans put in that we're installing right now. And we did some starter cable management with those fans. So now, we don't quite have these fans installed yet because we want to go ahead and install the motherboard and do a bit of cable management before we get those fans installed. However, bottom fans are completely installed and back fan back here is completely installed. We're now going to install the motherboard. Then after we install the motherboard, we'll prep the AIO and get it installed. I then carefully installed our motherboard into the case and I lined it up with the standoffs. All right, let me get that out of the way. All right, now we've got our AIO here. And our AIO bracket has been mounted. We put that bracket on the back of the motherboard for the AIO to seat properly on the CPU. We then screwed the motherboard into the case. Also, in case y'all aren't aware, the reason I'm wearing this anti-static wristband is because PC parts are very, very vulnerable to electrostatic discharge. So wearing a wrist strap like this, a ESD wrist strap, you can take it right here, the clip, plug it into anything metal, and that will ground you and dispel any electricity. Now let's go ahead and finish unboxing our liquid cooler. The AIO liquid cooler I used in this build is the Sirius Power Chill 360mm AIO liquid cooler. So let me first go ahead and remove these fans, because these aren't our V3 fans, and we want this build to be exclusively our V3 fans. So I am going to do that first. Alright, now let's get these removed. We linked our Sirius Power PC Infinity V3 fans, and we got ready to install them. Now, let's get these back installed on the AIO. Once we got those fans back installed onto the radiator, we are almost done prepping to install the AIO. First step is to apply thermal paste liberally onto the CPU. Once we got that thermal paste on, I had Kale help by holding the radiator while I screwed the AIO into the motherboard. I slid the radiator into place very carefully, then screwed the radiator in securely. Okay, so now that we have our AIO installed, I'm going to start with the basic cable management. So the motherboard connector, the CPU connectors, so on and so forth. I did some basic cable management for the fans, then got busy getting the front panel connectors plugged in. I did cut a lot of the cable management, that way this time lapse wasn't the length of this video. We are now ready to install the absolutely glorious power supply. Okay, so I am gonna slide this right in here. I then got to unboxing my graphics card. For this build, we're rocking the Asus Dual GeForce RTX 4060 Ti graphics card. This card uses GDDR6 and has 8GB of VRAM. Not to mention, it looks amazing. I got it taken out of its anesthetic bag, then I got to installing it. We have a full video showcasing how to install your very own graphics card that you can check out at the top right hand of the screen right now. Alright, now it's finally time for the moment of truth. We are going to turn the power supply on, and we are going to hit the button. After fixing some cables and replacing a faulty 24-pin motherboard cable, it was time to test the PC again. Hypothetically, it should come on. And just like that, our PC was working. Now we have a tutorial showcasing what to do after you finish building your PC. You can check that out at the top right hand of the screen right now. Thank y'all so much for watching this build. Be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed it and consider subscribing. That way you don't miss any of our future videos. Be sure to check us out at Sirius Power PC if you have any questions about a PC, if you're looking at budgeting for your next gaming rig, or if you just want to talk PC parts. Thank y'all so much for watching. My name is Timmy, here with Sirius Power PC, and I'll see you guys later.